Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am MD Redwan Ul Abir. Today I will present the network security and the software security. These tools are not similar, but we will understand why these are more important in the development of our software lifecycle. First of all, let's see about code quality and why it's needed. Code quality basically means the qualityful writing of code where it should contain comments of the functions and it should not have any kind of reputational code or any kind of big functional code that can be executed for a long time. That means the code should be simplified and easy for everyone else to understand. uh, the effective and maintainability of this code is very important. Let's understand with an example. Suppose we are writing a code today, but we are not mentioning any kind of comments in that code. After a few times, when the code is old enough and we are probably 2 or 3 years have passed in our life, when we go back to the old code and try to read the code, we are the one who can't get what we have done at past. To remove this kind of situation or this kind of problem, we can use code comment, where the comment will represent what is happening in the code and how the code is flowing from one function to another function. And another big problem is bug prevention. Bug oftenly occurs when we forget to mention some kinds of null safety, or there is a typecasting error where the variable is working for string, but we are defined it as a integer, like that. This kind of problem can be occurred in our program, so we should fix this kind of error and try to complement the code with the good code quality. The collaboration and scalability is another sector where we should take our measures for. uh, we are familiar with many kind of collaboration or tool, such as Colab and GitHub version control tool, where many developers are gathered together and they share their code and their function for the big project. Here a team leader then reviews the code and merge it with the main branch. To If we are not trained writing the qualityful code, then there can be problem in big scenarios like this, where a big project is held, but for our poor understanding of good code quality, the project might get failed. Now let's talk about what is code vulnerability. The code vulnerability uncovers the meaning of vulnerable code and explore real world examples that illustrate the potential risks and security vulnerabilities. Here the code vulnerability, let's take an example to understand it. Suppose we have written a code for measuring something or taking input from user. If we don't validate the code properly, the code will be very malicious for end users means the customer we are writing the code for. If the end user is smart enough to breach the code, the program will automatically be in high risk. As a result, the whole system will be breakdown. To prevent this kind of situation, we can use many kind of validations, in local validation, also in network validation. In this first of all, we have to implement the local validation, where we can set a parameter that the user can either give their in that parameter or not. If user inputs any kind of invalid data in that parameter, the program will show an exception and try to give another few more chance for the user to give the new or the required information. If there is a few times where the user is giving wrong information, then the program can program can block the user for a session of time. uh, in here there are many kinds of problem can be occurred, like incorrect function calling, memory leak, typecasting, security vulnerability, and code smells. We have previously talked about code smells, where we have talked about the commenting issue, and incorrect function call is a big problem, where we are dealing with a big branch of code or a big uh, project where different kind of functionality is happening in our project. But if we don't do well enough understandable writing for code, then we can be get lost in the code session, where we can find what function to be called and where is the code is moving and how the data is moving throughout the code. So to improve all of this, we need to be very uh, attentive for our uh, code quality and code quality related problems. And we have to identify the most common types of variable vulnerabilities, such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and buffer overflow. So let's move on to the next slide, where we are measuring the code quality and detecting vulnerabilities. Uh, Code quality can be detected in three ways: static code analysis, dynamic code analysis, and manual code review. Let's see, first of all, static code analysis. It checks the code by line with a set of rules, where the tester is checking the code line by line for data flow. And when they find some errors or bugs, they report that in their project management section. This kind of There are many tools for this job, but the most commonly used tools are uh, Coverty, Sonar QB, Getafix, HP for 40p, and etc. Dynamic coding analysis is how it discovers the code analytical tools and evaluate code during the runtime, detecting the potential vulnerabilities and gathering real-time uh, insights. And lastly, manual code review. Manual code review explored the importance of the manual code review by skilled developer to identify the vulnerability that may be missed or automated by automated tools. In here we have to remember that not all kind of tools are always safe. Sometimes any tool can forget about a problem or miss a problem for mistake a problem for another problem. So we always need to double check the situation to move forward in our code in our vulnerability detection section. Now let's overview the static code analysis portion. We understand the static code analysis and its benefits to provide the identification of security vulnerabilities and maintenance code quality. Here in the picture you can see that in static code analysis, how a uh, programmer how a tester thinks about a problem. In the graph you can show that you can see that the code flow where the different function different function is called for a particular work, and this function in this function how the data is floating from one to another is shown in the graph too. uh, Now let's see how what is the difference between automated and versus manual testing. In automated testing, we have a set of people who are testing for its problem, and finding out the problem. But in the manual testing, we have some softwares to deal with this kind of situation. uh, First of all, see what kind of software we can use for manual testing. We can use software like Postman, and there are some softwares like um, there are software made by IntelliJ and other Apache and other brands as well. And manual testing, there is a team of tester who test the code live from the developer or programmer and give feedback to them. But there are always some kind of collision between tester and the programmer. The issue is they think that the programmer is uh, more superior and more skilled. They cannot do mistake. If they are faced with any kind of mistake, they feel ashamed of themselves. So there are some kind of moral debates between both of the parties. Now after that, let's see what is code quality metrics. Code quality metrics explore the various code quality in user and uses its static code analysis to access software reliability, maintainability, and security. Here we are not talking about much. Now let's move forward. Now here are some tools about the code analysis, check metrics, barcode, and etc. Now let's talk about a mm, software named Stopbox. Stopbox is an open source static analysis tool discovered into the identify of common bugs and potentially secured vulnerabilities in Java code, where this kind of tools is used for detecting basic problems like not giving any uh, closing parentheses, and not giving proper clarification of a function, or proper uses of function. Suppose we are declaring a function where the function is returning something in string, but we are declaring it in a character, so there are conflict in this situation. So this kind of issues can detect this software. It can explore the activity, stopbox community, and availability of the communication updates, plugins, and the additional rule set. And that means that if we use any kind of online method for our programs, such as API calling, API pen testing, and other things, this can support that kind of testing as well. uh, Now here is an example of how a bug works. Here there are two situations. One situation there is a missing parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and another situation there is a problem with the uh, typecasting, where the data type is not same as the output of the function. So these are the two common mistakes detected by the spot bugs. Now the limitation and scope of the software analysis. In this section, the limitation is mostly dependent on the developer, because in the developer we previously discussed that the developer wants to do their work at time rapidly, and they doesn't like anyone others to complain about their code. So there are always some kind of debate between developer and tester. So this kind of issue remains. We can solve it, but issue still remains. And another kind of problem is the government infrastructure, or we if we try to deliver a software before testing or before any kind of test measurement, there may be a slight chance of getting a buggy software. So uh, when we try to publish software more and more, this failure of our software can be high possibility. So there is a problem of that also, and we generally don't practice enough for the good code quality, code smell removal, and other parameters. So the issue can be caused from ourself as well. This kind of issue sets the limitation for the good production code and good deployment of the code. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you, everyone.